Hey guys, it's your favorite book reading Ginger, and welcome to my book club. Tonight we are discussing A Court of Frost and Starlight. It's the very last book, it's not really, I guess, one of the books in the series. It's the novella that goes with the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, but it's the last one that we have with Fair, Rysand, Moore, the gang. The last. It's the end for now until she writes another one. She better write another one because I need Nesta and Cassian. I need that novel. So, but it was. I mean, I liked it. The reviews are so mixed on it. Some people liked it. Some people didn't like it because there's nothing going on. But like, there wasn't supposed to be anything going on. So like, there's nothing major that happens in this book. It's just short and sweet, and you get like a little glimpse into life after their war. Like, what do they do every day now? So now we know. I mean, because you think about it, we start out like we were under the mountain. We freed ourselves from, Aramitha. That was Rysand's point then we get to see a little bit of Rysand's sweeter side, that he's not as beastly as we thought, but then we were playing a war. So now we get to see what happens when we just don't have anything to fight for, or we don't have to fight any baddies. We're just living life. So it's basically about winter solstice is coming up. Fair is trying to, she's buying presents for them. She has the money to buy presents. We get to see some of like Rysand and the guys' winter solstice traditions. We get to dive into our characters a little bit more. But the story is basically from Farrah, Rysand, Cassian, and Moore, and then we even have like a Nesta point of view thrown in there. But it was good. I enjoyed it. Like I said, the reviews are mixed because nothing major happens, but it was good. So, Farrah and her family are getting ready for winter solstice. We find out that Nesta has moved into what Rice describes as a slummy apartment and closed herself off from everybody except for Farrah. She visits Farrah every few months, and they're paying for her apartment and her new drinking addiction. So she doesn't talk to Cassian, so that moment we had in A Court of Wings and Ruin, like, it hasn't happened. She just kind of closed herself off. Lucian is also in Valeris. He lives in an apartment in Valeris also, but he has like a nice apartment, not a bad one. And then of course Elaine still lives at the house with Farrah and them. So so that's where everybody is. We find out that in female fae female form, you get to have 2 periods a year, but apparently they're agonizing. So Farrah actually talks about this. She describes them as a stomach shredding week of agony, and nothing can be done for the pain. So be glad we're not fae, ladies. Vasa, the queen, the mortal queen, she's still here for a little bit. Her swan princess lord, she's fire bird by day and woman by night. She's got that swan princess thing going on. Her lord has given her a little bit of time to be here, and she's in the mortal realm with Jurian, and they're at the Gratian estate, and Lucian's with them occasionally, and they're working together. We still haven't got like a clear thing on what's going on with the treaty between like the mortal realm and the Fey realm, or if they're rebuilding the wall. We really don't know what's going on there. That wasn't really explained in this book. But they are working on it. We just don't know exactly what's going on there. So we didn't get any like straight answers. We find out that in this book, Farrah, her want to paint is back. She hasn't painted since like book 1. She hasn't wanted to. There hasn't been a want to paint. But in this book, she does. But like in Rysand's like, well, we'll turn your old bedroom into an art studio, and she's like, no, I don't want anybody to see my painting. I don't know what's gonna come out. So she finds like this little boarded up place, and she like starts going in there and painting. The family that owns it, the girl that owns it, was like, I think, killed in the war. And so she goes to the family to buy it, and they actually just end up giving it to her. Like, if you want to do anything, there's like a a charity. Her family was like, donate to this charity. It was the girl's favorite charity. It's like a charity that helps artists who are struggling. So, but yeah, she has that want to paint again, which I think is great because, like I said, we haven't seen Farah paint since the first book. You know, in the first book, she mentioned that all she ever wanted was like her sisters to be married and her to have enough money to paint. And then, you know, at one point she felt selfish for painting when she actually indulged in it because she didn't know if her family was taken back care of. That's when she was back with Tamlin at the Spring Manor. And, you know, now, like, she wants to paint again, so I think that's great. You know, we're all getting over what happened in the war. She's alive. Rysand is alive because, you know, he died and then got brought back to life. So, I mean, I think they're, you know, it's good to see them get back, like, in this normal. And she does talk about that a lot, like, she got to keep Rysand. So many didn't come home from the war, and she feels very, you know, privileged that she got to keep, you know, Rysand, which is great. So the big thing Rysand to me was Rysand visits Tamlin, and he's going to talk to him about the border because, of course, his border's right there against the mortal realm, and they're like, you know, they're talking about we need troops, we need something there to kind of keep the mortals separate from the humans to protect them. So he goes to Tamlin and he talks about these as the Spring Manor is like lacking life, and then he describes Tamlin as Tamlin is turned into a haggard man. He's got shaggy hair, eyes haunted and bleak, and the manor is empty. There is inside the manor there is shredded furniture, shattered furniture, shredded paintings, and cracked walls. And then later, like, he returns again, and, like, Tamlin asks Rysand, do you think she'll ever forgive me? You know, like, Tamlin said or Rysand said Tamlin brought himself. I guess he kind of did. But, like, I don't know, I kind of feel bad for him. I also wonder if he's mourning what he lost, because I think he realized, like, he was in love with the human Farah. This is just a theory. I don't know if it's true or not. My theory is he was in love with the human Farah, and then she went on the mountain, and things happened, and it changed her. And not only did it change her mentally, it changed her physically. She became Fae. And I think he always wanted, like, human Farah back. And I think after the second time, he never had her really the second time. That was all part of her plan. But I think after that second time, he's seen that, like, human Farah is no longer, like, she's gone. And I think that's who he loved. So I don't know. I kind of feel for the guy. I want him to be happy. Farah wants him to be happy. He deserves something. Just go be happy, not sad. And, like, everybody in the manor's gone, which means he's either scared him off. I mean, he scared him off, I guess, or Farah did her job well and tore him apart. Something happened. They're all gone. It's just him. I just feel bad for the guy a little bit. I think he's, like, kind of sad because Farah, the woman he loved, is no longer there, and she will never be there. But, like, he kind of needs to, like, move on. Get himself together. I mean, find him somebody. If he wants a human, there's plenty, I'm sure. I don't know. Just kind of feel bad for him. So, as we're planning for solstice, Elaine mentioned, you know, she kind of wanted to invite Nesta, and Nesta kind of turned her down. I think kind of hurt Elaine's feelings. So, Farah goes to find her, and she spends a lot of her time drinking alone, but she doesn't go home alone. So Farah invites her to solstice, and of course, like I said, Nesta's kind of living off of them. And she's like, well, my rent's due. And she's like, well, if you come to solstice, I'll pay your rent. You know, like, I'll give you the money for your rent. So, I don't know. Poor Nesta. Like, she's having a really rough time. So we find out that Rysand, Azrael, and Cassian have this winter solstice tradition of having a snowball fight. It's so cute. It's so childish. Like, more Winnows her to the cabin, and they've got, like, these snow forts and everything, and they have, like, a run and tally mark over, like, hundreds of years of who's winning. And it's just, it's so cute. It's so kiddish, and, like, they're like 500-year-old men, and they're having a blast having a snowball fight. Well, and after the snowball fight, they go into, like, this sauna room, and they're all like naked, and Farrah's like sending naughty thoughts to Ryson through the sauna. He's like, it's not good to be at tension in the sauna. So he got kicked out of the sauna for having a boner, and I thought it was hilarious. Um, and then we get to see like their actual winter solstice is also Farrah's birthday. There's like a little thing about how she was born on the longest night of the year. So like Ryson was like, you were meant for me from the beginning, which is so sweet. So it's also her birthday, but it's also winter solstice. Like it's Christmas. You know, they're exchanging gifts, and I love Elaine's gift to Azriel. It was a powder mixed into his drink for all the headaches he gets. And Farrah says that she has never seen his hazel eyes so bright as he laughed. And if you think about it now, which I did in the other books, when they're all together, it's always like Moore and Cassie, and they're drinking, they're laughing, and it says Azriel's always like rubbing his temples. And I never thought about it, but I guess everybody gives him a headache. So poor Azriel, he's had to endure this. So after solstice, Cassian, Cassian walks Nesta home. She doesn't want him to, but he does. And he's just like trying to get her to talk to me. He literally says, talk to me, Nesta. She's in such, I think he knows that she's got a lot going on, and like, he just wants her to open up to him. You know, he really does care about her. And we find out that Cassian got Nesta a gift. But we don't know what it is. He threw it in the river, and we never find out in this book what it is. And I just want to know what was in that box that he had for. I just don't think he would buy her something simple like jewelry. I just don't think. I think he would. I don't know. I think he bought her something meaningful. But I want to know what was in the box, Cassian. But he threw it in the river, and we never got to see it. But he walks her home, and this part really got to me in the book. I felt really bad for Nesta. We get to see a little glimpse from Nesta's point of view, and she talks about how she could barely stand to hear the crack and pop of the wood, had barely been able to endure it in Farrah's townhouse. Snap, crunch. No one ever remarked that it sounded like breaking bones, like a snapping neck. So, of course, she's haunted by her father's death. And she said she hadn't lit a fire in the apartment. She kept warm with blankets and layers. Wings rustled and moved outside the apartment because Cassian was still there watching over her. She says she drew her knees to her chest and stared into the dimness. Still the silent rage and echoed around her. She felt nothing. So Nesta's in a dark place. I feel like. I feel very bad for her. I do. I just want her to be happy, and she's not happy. She's not happy. But I don't know. I feel like Cassian could just make her happy though if she just let him. So in A Court of Wings and Ruin, Moore remarks on Farrah's dresses that she doesn't know where, Ryson won't tell her where they came from, but Farrah always has the best dresses. So we actually finally get to figure out where all those dresses come from. And all this like, I loved this part. And I want to cry, but tears of joy, because it was so stinging sweet. They came from Ryson's mother, actually made all of Farrah's dresses. Now, as we know, Ryson's mother was an Illyrian, and in their camp she was a seamstress. So when she married Ryson's father and became a lady of the night court, she kept making dresses, but she made dresses for his future bride just because she enjoyed it. And they had like a little moment where Ryson's like, she would have loved you, and Farrah was like, I would have loved her too. And I was just like, oh, it's so sweet. And it makes it even more special because she made all these dresses. She didn't even know Farrah, but she made them. And I think about like, she wore them before she was technically his like official, like before they were actually mated, because I think like her Starfall dress, and I think she had all these dresses, and they were all made by his mother, and it was just so sweet. I just loved it. And then like, of course, they have their time. We have a lot of sexy Rysan Farrah scenes in this book, and I ate them up. I was like, yes. But he winnows her to this estate he bought her, he bought Farrah an estate, and it's so sweet because they're gonna apparently they're gonna build their house on this Jewish estate, and he says build a house with a painting studio, build a house with an office for you and an office for me, build a house with a bathtub big enough for two and for wings, build a house with rooms for all our family, build a house with a garden for Elaine, a training ring for the Lyrian babies, a library for Amron, an enormous dressing room for Moore. Build a house with a nursery Farrah. And I was like, a nursery. So we find out in this book they're like ready to start their family. We know from the bone carver that they will eventually have like a little boy. So we're getting that going. So they're ready to start a family. And it's so sweet. And I hope we get more novellas where we can just like see a little glimpse into like Rysand and Farrah as parents, because I feel like they're going to be pretty good at it. I thought they'd be good parents, but some funny parents. And then, of course, all the best aunts and uncles in the world you could ask for with Cassian and Azriel and Moore and all them. So Farrah has met this fellow artist after buying or getting the building. She decides that she wants to open it up and let children come and paint through any horrors they experienced in the war, and it's for free, and like the children can come and paint. So like at the end of the book, she's telling Rysand about her first class, how it went, and they're just kind of walking over the layers, and it kind of just ends there. So like I said, it's not a long story. It's, you know, not just a whole lot happens. It's just kind of short and sweet and to the point. You know, not a whole lot happens in the story. It's just their life after the war, and I think it was great. I did enjoy it. It was an easy read, but it was good, and it was like I held on to it because it was like, this is my last like book with them. Like, this is it. Like, their story ends, and I have to say goodbye, and I was just not ready to say goodbye to them yet. I absolutely love Sarah J. Maas's characters in this book. Her Throne of Glass series, I do love the Throne of Glass with Selena and all of them, but I'm so attached to Farrah and Rysand for some reason. I love them and their love story, and they're so sweet. And Rysand and Farrah's relationship is just goals. It's goals. It's amazing how they work together and how they just love each other so much, and they have like the best sex. It's great. They got great sex scenes, like really great. So, but it was just, yeah, I like them. So I was like, oh, it's hard to say bye, but I hope it's not over. Somewhere out there's like a Nesta Cassian scene leading up to like future Nesta Cassian book that has been talked about. She's coming out. Sarah J. Maas is coming out with a new series March of this year. The House of oh my gosh, the House of Earth and Blood, I think. The Crescent Moon series. I totally forgot. It's a house of something with blood. Blood and something. But, like, it's about Nesta. She's been called to Farrah's house, like their house that they build. Because she talks about walking in, and she talks about some of the main features of that house. And they tell her basically, I think, that they're cutting her off. And, like, Cassian's like, yeah, you're going to the Lyrian camp with me. And then it kind of ends there. And then it's somewhere out there. I don't know where. But yeah, I've read it, and it was like really good. And it's just like it's just like a small. So that's where everybody says there's supposed to be like a Cassian and Nesta book, novella like coming up. I would totally read it. Maybe get to see a little like Rysand baby in the background. I would love to see her at the Lyrian camp. I think like Nesta like fighting and training would get so much of her energy out. It'd be great for her, I think. And like, you know, I think like, okay, with like Selena and Rowan, or Elaine and Rowan, like Rowan pulled her out. Farrah and Rysand kind of pulled Farrah out of her slump. So I feel like it's a theme with Sarah J. Maas, maybe. So Cassian can kind of pull Nesta out of her slump. But I want them to be in-game. I don't want them to be like they find somebody else. No, like, they gotta be in-game. You know, Lucian and Elaine, like, they're not really, I mean, I guess, like, I know they're mated, but you can reject the bond. Um, but I would like Lucia to be happy. But like I also like Azriel and Elaine together. Their ship's hard for me. I just don't know. I don't know which one I would